Hello, I'm Colette Prince and welcome to another exciting installment of Digitize Your Biz, a show that speaks all things digital and business. For decades, Google has been known to be our main source of where we can get information, connecting everyone across the globe into one digital village. But one thing that we seem to miss is the amount of impact Google has on businesses, especially startups. Today, we unpack the various tools and platforms that can be found within Google that can help boost sales, visibility and the performance of your business. Joining me now in the Zoom room is Rory Elliott, Managing Director at Skylight Digital. Rory, welcome.
Well, thank you very much, Colette. Nice to be with you.
So, Rory, just with the line of work that you do, what would you say are the fundamentals of digital marketing?
Well, I believe the fundamentals or the foundations of digital marketing rest on three pillars. Your website or your application that you're using to engage your audience online. The next would be your data configuration. So if you've got data tools that are set up on your website to understand the behavior of your audience when they're visiting your website, that's a crucial part of digital and why it separates itself from traditional advertising. And the third would be, of course, search itself, ensuring that you've got visibility on the first page of Google, which can be done through many different tools nowadays. The search isn't as simple as it used to be. Nowadays, it's you can use principles, and by earning place on the first page, you can purchase clicks from the first page through advertisements. And even nowadays, if you don't even have a website, if you've got a small business, local business, you can at least set up a Google My Business listing, which will get you on the first page of Google for your brand.
Yeah.
So those are the sort of foundations, I believe.
Yeah, and we'll get into more of the tools that you were just touching on just now. But why would you say that Google is the epicenter of digital marketing?
Well, you said it in your introduction. Google really, it's based on search. Search is such a powerful tool because how it separates itself from traditional advertising is that it waits for somebody to show intent by making a search for a service or a product. And then by strategically placing your business for that person's search, you're able to essentially disrupt their process and make your business a viable option for them. So instead of pushing your advertising to someone, essentially you're pulling them in when they're actively pursuing your services and products.
Yeah, and we've seen that Google has evolved over the years. How do you think that Google is now, that businesses are now benefiting from Google now more than ever?
Well, Google started out as a search engine, which is, and it really became the most powerful search engine by improving its algorithm and allowing people to find things accurately on the internet. That's how it all began. But nowadays, Google is so much bigger than just the search engine itself. Google has injected itself into social platforms such as YouTube online, business tools, a cloud-based storage communications like Google Meets, for instance, which is an equivalent to Zoom, for instance. And it really is now a one-stop shop for businesses. Our company itself has a G Suite, which gives us access to all the Google tools. So I no longer need Microsoft. Essentially can use all the Google tools such as Google Slides, Google Word documents, Google Excel, which are exactly the same as sort of the Microsoft grouping of tools. And you can install that stuff automatically in the cloud and share it with your partners. So it's made business incredibly efficient. And not just from an advertising perspective, but also just from a functioning perspective.
Yeah. And speaking on the point of efficiency, how are businesses benefiting from Google's massive outreach and platform?
Oh, well, I think if you see where Google has always been so powerful is it's kind of leveled the playing field for SMEs and small, medium-sized enterprises. The small businesses and the startup businesses haven't ever had the budget that big corporations have to spend on large-scale advertisements. So where Google has now placed itself is it's saying, instead of you having to pay for, let's take an example. Traditionally, if I had a magazine advert, I would pay for every person that bought that magazine, even if 90% of them weren't interested in my services at the time. So that's quite expensive, because if someone's got a 3,000 readership, I'm paying for them all, but only possibly 30,000 might be interested in my business at the time. Whereas through Google, we're able to advertise to a very targeted and relevant audience and only pay for those people that think your offering is worthwhile enough for them to click on the advertisement and go through to your website. So you only pay once they've actually come to your website, which makes it incredibly affordable for small, medium-sized businesses and incredibly targeted at the same time.
Yeah, and speaking about targets, how has Google adapted in terms of the changing landscape of digital marketing? Because digital marketing in itself has also gone through a bit of an evolution.
It has, absolutely, yeah. Well, it's adapted itself in many ways. I think the biggest way it's adapted itself is just by constantly improving its algorithm to ensure that it remains the #1 search engine in the world. Search is such a powerful tool, because if you're able to manipulate the search in a legitimate way, so when I say manipulate, really what I'm saying is if you adhere to Google's best practices, then you're able to find yourself on the first page of Google search engines for multiple searches, which can open you up to a very large audience and an active audience, an audience that's looking for your services or business. So I believe that businesses need to take heed of search, Google. They need to adhere to the best practices to ensure that they get onto that first page, either through SEO or through paid search itself, which is quite an easy thing to achieve if you get the assistance or help of an agency like ourselves.
Yeah. And Rory, I'm just going to hold you right there. We will continue our discussion on how to use Google to boost sales, visibility, and the performance of your business. See you after this.